Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Soundwave from Transformers Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures. So this is in my mind the kind of tail end of Cyberverse. Now I could be completely wrong, but obviously the show's been over for some time and new toys are kind of randomly trickling out. I think it's anything that was kind of in the pipeline before it got officially canceled or finished. They're starting to kind of, trickle their way out. We have 3 new deluxes, Starscream, which I reviewed yesterday, Soundwave, and then Prowl is the third one. They're just kind of like a mini second wave. They don't have any Build-A-Figure pieces. There's no pictures on the back to show any other future figures coming out. So I kind of think this is the end for it, but I guess time will tell. But anyway, here's Soundwave. He actually comes with a little laser beak, which is pretty cool. You have the kind of standard Decepticon group shot here on the side. And then over here you have a nice picture of Soundwave. Not too much going on the top or bottom of the box, but on the back here you have the robot mode. I really don't like them giving these weird armored truck alt modes to Soundwave. I'm not a huge fan. I understand that the tape deck is not really relevant anymore because it's not the 80s and people don't use cassettes, but there's got to be something better than this weird armored car, isn't there? I mean, I don't know. But that's pretty much it for the packaging, so I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So here he is out of the packaging, and he's okay. He's got this kind of big backpack piece, which is kind of a bummer. But other than that, I would say he's pretty good. He's got a lot of nice paint applications. I think the chest area looks really sharp with the gold trim. I think the Decepticon symbol looks really nice. He's got these kind of like sound pattern shoulder pads that are painted silver, which is good. A lot of nice red here on the forearms. And then down here in the legs, you have a lot of nice gold trim and silver paint. Overall, he looks pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of this newer Soundwave head sculpt with the V-shaped visor, but it's okay. I kind of like a more traditional Soundwave head sculpt, but I get it. And the silver paint looks nice. The red paint for the visor looks good, so I think it looks good. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not my favorite, but I get it, and I think they executed it well. Head can move from side to side. I don't think there's a ball joint there, so there's no front to back. It's just a side-to-side swivel. This piece you can kind of move because of the transformations, so that just kind of sits back there. You have kind of a loose, mine's kind of loose. Honestly, some of the plastic feels a little cheap, which is kind of a bummer. I don't think it's going to break or anything, but like the shoulders and kind of the legs feel a little cheap. I think because they're mostly hollow. But you can see you have a nice ratchet. You can actually hear the ratchet joint in the shoulder there. But this swivel is a little loose, which is kind of weird. But then you have a bicep swivel. You have 90 degrees in the elbow there. You do have kind of a ball joint in the wrist, so you can definitely get some side-to-side movement, but then it's going to rotate back into the forearm for the transformation. You do have a waist swivel. Now, because of the kibble back here, it's a little awkward, but you do technically have a waist swivel, so you can kind of make that work for you. You have a ball joint in the hip. You do have a thigh swivel, and then you have I would say well over 90 degrees in the knee because of the transformation. And you do have a little bit of ankle tilt as well. Now it's kind of really tight, but there is a little bit there so you can get him to stand pretty well. Overall, I think he looks pretty good. Much better than Starscream in my opinion. His really only problem is this kind of backpack, but I mean, we've had, bots with backpacks before. It's not a big deal. So overall, I like him. Now he does have a couple accessories. He has this, I guess, cannon, for lack of a better term. So if you want, you can have him hold this in his hand and use it as a weapon. Or if you want, you can put it on his shoulder for a more classic look. You can see that kind of square tab slot right there. Pegs on right here. So you just go ahead and pop that on. So there you go. You have that shoulder-mounted cannon for a more classic look. He has this little effect piece, which is actually kind of neat. It's got kind of a sound pattern on it, very similar to his shoulder pads. There you go. There's the light catching it. So you can peg this on to either. If you want to peg it on here, you can. Or if you want to peg it on to this piece, it works either or. Perfectly good there. But probably his best accessory, don't fall over, is laserbeak. And it's a very basic version of laserbeak, but it's painted nice. Some nice red paint there, a little bit of gold. Otherwise, it's pretty much just gray and kind of black plastic. But you swivel the head like this. You can even see he's got his beak and his little eye painted there. You're going to unpeg these pieces on the side here. And you can see that they have the tiniest little tab or little peg right there, and then the tab or the peg holes right there. So you're going to swivel these down, and then once you do that, that'll allow you to flip out the wings. Now that's it. There's no piece on the back that flips up or anything like that. But he's okay. He's not bad. Now you can see he does have 2 peg holes here. So if we zoom back out, you can do the classic like perch on the forearm pose here. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Appreciate that. And then if we transform him back, you can actually open up the chest and he slides right in. No issues whatsoever. Now it's not spring loaded or anything. There's no button to pop it in or out. You just kind of use your fingernail or something to pull it down. But I mean, really no issue whatsoever. No matter how you slide it in there, he fits easily, closes up, no problem. So, I mean, in that regard, he's a little bit better suited than even Siege or Earthrise Soundwave, because not all of his cassettes actually fit in his chest, and the ones that do don't even really fit that easily. So, now this is definitely smaller than the Earthrise cassette, so there is no compatibility. I mean, I guess technically you could put this in Earthrise Soundwave because it's smaller, but the Earthrise and Siege cassettes definitely will not fit over here because they're much larger. But I still think that works. I think that looks pretty cool. And overall, I think he's a pretty cool looking bot mode. So let's go ahead and start up with his transformation. So I've gone ahead and removed the cannon from the shoulder, and I've taken laserbeak out of his chest cavity. Technically, you don't have to do either to facilitate the transformation. I just thought it would be easier to do so. So we're going to start here by kind of lifting back this section, and you can kind of lift this up. This is going to come around. You can see that there are 2 kind of tab extensions here, and they're going to tab in here and here. So this is going to come up. You can kind of lift these up too if it helps you, but this is going to come all the way around and peg in there. This piece is going to drop back and then swivel like this and just stay all the way up against it like that. At this point, we're going to straighten out the arms, fold the forearm, or the hand into the forearms, I should say. Then you're going to unhook this. There's actually a little peg right there that pegs into the wheel right there. So you're going to undo that. You're going to bring this around. You're going to rotate this 90 degrees because you can see that there is a little tab slot right there. And there are tabs right here and here. So this has to go up and kind of tab into that spot up there. And then you can kind of make sure that this all sits flush after you get that tabbed in. So you're going to untab from here, lift this up just for some space, bring this in, rotate that 90 degrees, bring that up, tab that into place, like so, and then as a result you should be able to close that up. Now you can see how that kind of fills this gap here, not perfectly, but fills it a little bit there. It's not terrible. Next we're going to come down to the legs. We are going to fold the feet all the way around. You can see how the back of his legs are kind of hollow. If you have the ankles tilted, you have to kind of push them back into place so you can rotate this around. And then you're going to just push the feet together. Now, honestly, it's a little difficult to get these to tab together. You kind of have to just grab onto these pieces here. You might even want to flip the feet back out because you don't have to have you don't have to have the feet flipped in to get these to peg together. So you can kind of, you know, squeeze that together and then you can put the feet back in if you need to. At this point, you're going to bring this piece back like this so that you can rotate this around 180 degrees. And let me zoom out here. Then this whole piece is going to rotate back like this, and you can see that there's 2 peg holes right there, and that's going to peg in right there and right there. So you're just going to bring this all the way around, and that's just going to drop in like so. And then this last piece is going to come around and pop up like so. And there you go. You have your completed, I guess, armored car vehicle mode. I guess that's what I've heard. SWAT vehicle, armored car, whatever you want to call it. There you go. So honestly, I don't hate this. I'm not a huge fan of, you know, giving Soundwave these weird like van and armored car modes. I don't know what the answer is. I'll be honest. I don't have all the answers. I don't know what the perfect alt mode. Like for Megatron, he was a gun. Now he's a tank. It seems so easy. It's a perfect idea, a perfect transition. I don't know what the answer is for Soundwave. I mean, I'm okay with keeping him a cassette player because that's my nostalgia. But I understand that in today's world, you know, they've tried like Palm Pilots, iPad or iPod looking things. You know, maybe just make him a smartphone or something. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think it makes sense for him to turn into like a smartphone because it's so small. I don't know. Maybe just like another... I don't know. I didn't really like the weird flying thing they did for Siege either, so I don't know what the answer is. We're going to have to, as a community, send in some ideas or something. Everyone let Hasbro know what Soundwave should turn into. In any case, this is okay, though. I mean, it's not the worst. It rolls decently. The transformation, I think, is actually kind of intuitive and fun. You don't have a lot of, like, huge gaping areas of empty space. Like, you have a little bit here, but that's not really that big a deal. You have a little bit there. It's not as bad as Starscream. I mean, everything kind of lines up and is cohesive here. I kind of look at it like these two windows are like eyes. I don't know why. I kind of wish this was just a straight across all black windshield, but I guess that's not what armor cars look like. I'm not sure. One thing I will say, you can 100% still pop open the hood and still slide Laserbeak in and out. Now, obviously, he doesn't really stay here as much as he just kind of drops in there and you just close it around him. But that's really cool. It's completely accessible in both modes, which I really like. And you can, of course, just peg that right back on very easily. And then you can put the effect piece wherever you like still. So that really doesn't change at all from robot mode. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's not my favorite design, but I think they pulled it off well. It's a cohesive looking little truck. You know, again, not my favorite, but I do appreciate you can still access Laserbeak. The weapons all mount. Really not that bad. I like it more than I thought I was going to, I'll say that. It's still not my favorite, but I do like it more than I thought I was going to, and it's definitely growing on me. So I actually think Soundwave is a lot of fun. I'm actually enjoying him a lot more than I thought I was going to. I mean, I always thought I would like it, but I actually like it quite a bit. I do think that some of the plastic feels a little cheap, so just be a little careful with that. I don't think it's going to break just from handling it, but just don't be too rough with it. I like the kind of shoulder cannon. I do kind of wish he came with the second one so I could have the gun and the shoulder cannon at the same time, because that's kind of his classic look, but at least you have one and you can use it as both. It does have that functionality. I think Laserbeak looks pretty cool. I love the fact that you can actually attach him, or I should say slide him into the chest cavity. I think that's really cool. I appreciate that that's accessible in both robot and vehicle mode. I think that's great. And I also like that you can go ahead and peg him onto the forearm. It's not the perfect combination or setup here, although I guess technically I guess I can peg it into either part of the forearm. Let me go ahead and try this. Yeah, I guess you can do either one. That's a little better. Neither one is perfect, but I feel like this gives you a better angle for him to kind of perch and, you know, be looked at by Soundwave. Because if you do it on this, you kind of have to put it up really high, and then he kind of has to like look up at him, or put him kind of facing downward like this. But if you just kind of do it on the front part of his forearm, it's a little better. I just feel like that's like less natural, but at the same time, you could just go ahead and move the hand, but then it doesn't bend the way you'd want it to. So I don't know. It's not perfect, but you have a couple options and they're all okay. But yeah, honestly, I think this guy's kind of fun. I'm definitely glad I picked him up. I think he's a really good Cyberverse representation of Soundwave. Good articulation, really great paint applications. Honestly, I'm a little blown away by all of the gold trim. It's a lot more than I expected to get. So I think that's really nice. Honestly, the red, all the silver, it's a really nice amount of paint applications. I'm happy with it. So yeah, this one surprised me. This one is a little bit better than I expected. I think he's pretty fun, and I definitely recommend picking him up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.